I call this one Their Story. In his story, he was never shown the value of a queen. Raised by a single mother, she was the neighborhood dope fiend. Ridicule from his friends sparked a deep hatred for his mother, 'cause she was the first woman ever that should have loved him like no other. The missed opportunity for his first shot at love cloaked his heart in an armor that fit like a glove. His foster mothers didn't love him, and the COs, they didn't give a damn. A victim of the system. How could he become a man? With no lessons on morals, self-esteem, or self-respect, the so-called role models in his life were simply looking for a check. His mama was a lost soul, and his daddy was unknown. There was pain of loss, a lack of love, the absence of a home. In her story, she grew up in a house that was filled with men. Not her father, nor her brothers, but these were mama's friends. Some were nice, some were mean, and one would bring her ginger snaps, and some would like to pinch her cheeks and sit her on their laps. A touch, a squeeze, a kiss, a wink, 'cause some of the friends were friendly. She hated them, and all the men. She viewed them as the enemy. Her example of a mother was disgusting, to say the least. Her father was a robber who was murdered in the streets. At 16, she decided, hell, she was good and grown. She packed a bag, got on a bus, and went off on her own. To eat and sleep, she tricked around with this one guy, oh, and his brother. Quite surprised when she realized she'd soon become a mother. In his story, he struggled through life detached, cold, and abrasive, until he learned the gift of gab and then became persuasive. He was handsome, suave, and edgy, so ladies were intrigued. They would pay him to lay with them until they grew fatigued. He was still lacking love, though his pockets grew fat. If he could find a woman to trust, he'd give it up like that. But what is trust anyway? And who would be trustworthy? See, in his opinion, all the women were sneaky, flirty, and dirty. These ladies who laced him had husbands at home. Yet another confirmation that he spent his life alone. He couldn't recognize the queens. All he could see was hoes. Chicks were tricks, just ass and cash, and that's the way it goes. In her story, she actually turned out pretty good. She beat the odds, found a good job, and moved up out the hood. She raised her son to be a king, and though her love was ample, she lacked a man to hold her hand and be a good example. She shied away from dating for the sake of her son's protection. But if her soulmate found her, she might make an exception. In his story, boy meets girl and they really hit it off. Her story now blends with his story since their paths have finally crossed. Their lack of love and loss of trust proved challenging at best. The fear, the blame, the lies, the shame, it turned into a mess. Him and her, the two of them, a match in heaven made. But neither one could open up, 'cause they were too afraid. Sadly, their story is really nothing new. You may know some people like them, and it may even be you. The downfall of an upbringing can sometimes make it hard to live. But you can heal and overcome if you can just forgive. As parents, the choices you make affect your child, and sometimes they never recover. They depend on you to see them through and love them like no other. Nobody's perfect, and we sometimes fall short, but that's really no excuse. Failure to nurture, protect, and support, that's a form of child abuse. Give unconditional love from the moment of birth. Encourage and uplift and teach them their worth. Guide them and ride with them from the absolute very beginning so that their story has an opportunity to have a happy ending. Live, love, and forgive. Thank you for watching. I'm G Nez. Please subscribe to my channel. Thanks.